All right, so we have these two big stories. Let's start with the Daniel Penny case because Judge Janine, you'll be able to tell us your interpretation of what it means about what the jury asked today and about the decision to send them home once again.
Okay, I'm very impressed with this jury, Dana. I really am. Starting with the first question that the jury came back with, and that was a question as to the criminal charges, how they related to these facts, and the defensive justification. So they knew right away that what they had to do was create some kind of an umbrella. These are the parameters within which we're working. Justification, of course, is a defense, but it is not a defense that the defense has to prove. It is a defense that the people have to disprove beyond a reasonable doubt. The next group of questions had to do with issues that I think are extremely telling as to where this jury is going. And the last group of questions had to do with the medical examiner that I've been very critical of, this level 1 medical examiner who claims she was a level 2. And they specifically, in the question, say, we want the cross-examination of Dr. Harris, the cross-examination, of course, by a former prosecutor, now defense attorney, Steve Razor, that was excellent. And they say, we want it where she says in her second death certificate that she wouldn't have changed her mind even if the test showed a fentanyl overdose. So right away, the jury says, we want to read this again. And then they go on. We would like to hear all the testimony up to and including the part where she admits that she told the grand jury that she didn't know if she observed sufficiently consistent pressure, which is contrary and brought out by the defense to what she was alleging when she testified on direct examination with the prosecution. This jury has honed right in on the inconsistency, the fact that there was a cause of death before the toxicology, before the histology, that because this was a case of high public interest, that the chief medical examiner came in, this guy named Graham, and he changes the cause of death. And the defense did such an excellent job, Kniff and Razor, where they said it took 10 days after the interview, after of Danny Penny, the defendant, after he voluntarily went in to speak with the police, then all of a sudden they've got no additional text, but its cause of death is now it's something where we want to charge him. Danny Penny, and they asked for his testimony, that's a 30-minute interview by two detectives, is so calm. He doesn't even know that Jordan Neely is dead. Danny Penny says, I did it because that's what I was trained as a Marine to do. There were people who were afraid. He came in, he said he was going to kill someone. The car froze. Everybody froze. We know from all of the prosecution witnesses that the defense has made its case through those witnesses. It's a phenomenal trial. They've gone home for the night. They need more testimony tomorrow that will be read to them, but they are spot on. And this isn't going to be, someone said, oh, they just want to let him go, or, oh, this or that. No, this is a smart jury. They know exactly what the issues are, the vulnerabilities, and where they're headed.
Okay, so let's take all of that and bring it back again tomorrow. Maybe we'll get a verdict tomorrow.
Yeah,
I guess
we
that's
will.
possible. You think we will?
Yeah.
Hope so.
We talk about what happened this morning, 6:46 a.m., just a few blocks from here, with the healthcare CEO being shot in the back by a masked gunman who ran off and is still on the loose.
Yeah, looking at that video was probably most disturbing. Again, you don't want to jump to conclusions, but it feels like it was a planned hit. The one witness said that the individual, the suspect, had been outside on the corner all night, which means he knew at some point this individual was coming there. The part that makes me feel that this is not a random hit or a robbery, one, he was catching as he shot. The reason why each shot was delayed, it wasn't a jam. He made sure he caught his bullet. No evidence. Put it in his pocket. Took his time. Hit him again. Admired his work. Knew where the cameras were. That's why he's back. The only mistake he made was when he crossed the street, but I think maybe something he didn't plan on was coming towards him that way. The other thing that's strange to me is his car service. There's a Suburban with the lights on.
The victim's car service.
The victim's car service. Even you see the other individual that's holding a cop, when he sees it, takes off running. Human reaction would be, he's in a car.
Yeah.
He should get the hell out of there. He should ram the other car, ride off, try to do anything, but that car does not move. So that's another question. It seems like they were waiting for him to be at that position at that time, and that's the part that's most disturbing to me. So if you don't want to say it, but it looked like a hit to me, in my opinion.
Jesse, either case, this kind of story, we have these two things happening. They're not related per se, obviously, but
I agree with Tyrus. It looked like a professional job. The guy was cool, calm, collected. He'd staked the guy out. He had a silencer. He had an escape plan. He had a disguise. It looks like an assassination. This guy makes $10 million a year. It's the largest healthcare company in the country. I think they had $80 billion in profit last year. So this thing is a behemoth. They deny a lot of claims. That could be motivation. John Walsh is on primetime tonight to speculate on motivation. Also, I don't know. This guy could have a personal life that could have been chaotic. You just don't know about these things. There's an antitrust action at the Department of Justice. Anything's possible. But this guy was obviously targeted. But this doesn't happen in America. You don't have a Fortune 500 CEO get whacked in Midtown at 6:30 in the morning. That's what's a little scary. Now, I don't have much to add because the judge covered it beautifully. But if you have a mentally ill, homeless, drug addict, ex-con that's threatening people's lives in a locked box underground, and a former Marine whose train comes in and tries to protect people, these things happen. It's tragic. These things happen. It's sad. And there's no racial animosity here. It's just sad. Now, if you have a guilty verdict here, what that does, men are bred to protect people. It's in our instinct. It's all cultures, all races. If you have a guilty verdict come down, that is an attack on the male instinct to protect vulnerable people. And you've been on subways, you've seen New York. There are fights a lot in this town where men come in, not even who know the couple, break it up, take your hands off her. There's a crazy guy in the subway, back off, buddy, calm down.
Right.
And those things can happen like that. And if a man hesitates because he sees this case come down a bad way, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be hurt in this city.
Right, like you don't want a chilling effect on people who are willing to help protect others. Okay. Kennedy, final word on anything you want to talk about.
I mean, we have to decide what kind of society we're going to live in. I hope we live in a society where, as a woman, if I'm riding the subway by myself, or if one of my girls are, I would hope that there is a guy like Daniel Penny who stands up and protects them. Because we want a society where there are people like that who instinctively protect vulnerable people. That's how it should be, because there's not always going to be a cop there. So this is a city where you've got, two very clear contrasts between good and evil. Daniel Penny, he's the good person. He's the stand-up guy. He's doing what a lot of men feel that they would and should do in that instance. And then you have evil people like that who are lying in wait, who, without hesitation, take someone's life. And, we don't know what the motivation is for that, but we know it exists. And maybe someone like that sees the vulnerabilities in the New York criminal justice system and feels like they're not going to get charged, they're not going to get caught. And that's terrifying. So I hope we have more Daniel Pennys in the world. And the more we stand on pins and needles waiting for this verdict, the more I feel, and I think there are a lot of people who feel that he did the right thing, and we hope there are more people who stand up like that. But under Alvin Bragg's watch, they will be punished for the wrong things.
Okay, so a jury verdict tomorrow. And so we'll have that for you on the 5. And we'll have the judge. He's got to be
Let's
here
hope
for us.
Penny's home for Christmas.